who's back? Guess 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 who's back?
Hi everyone, Kristina here with your weekly Way of Love reading for June 5th through the 10th. Thanks so much for joining me. I am back and I am so excited, and I think that I have finally been released by my guides to be making weekly videos again. It's like all those retrogrades hit me and they balled me up in a cocoon and just finally spit me back out. So lots of really cool shifts happened during the time that I was away, and you'll be seeing those start to emerge and roll out on my website for the next few weeks. I'll keep you posted on that, but for now, the special, I think the last time we talked, it was like right after the equinox, and now we're coming up to the solstice. So the solstice special is actually the basic energy reads, which is like the first half of what I do here with the tarot cards and the masculine and feminine energies, that sort of thing. And we actually have quite a few extra cards that came out. You're going to see some really neat things are going on, really specific, and the cards were jumping all over the place. So let's get down to it. Oh, okay. All right. So energies. Oh, actually, how I do this. The first side of the spread has to do with everybody who is engaging with this video, and then the other side of the spread has to do with the object of your love interest, the person who's in your mind and in your heart, or on your mind and in your heart. Okay. Hey, I'm a little rusty. I haven't made a video in a while. All right, so there's that, and then for each partner, I pull a goddess and titan card, and that is. For each partner, there is masculine and feminine energy, leading, pulling, guiding, however you want to call it, on both partners. So it's not one partner's masculine and one partner's feminine. It's that both have both energies at work in some form or another, whether in balance or out of balance. And there's also like lots of crosstalk between those masculine and feminine cards as well. So now, for realsies, let's get underway. The energy currently surrounding our side, those of you who are watching this video, is the Ten of Skies. This is like the Ten of Swords in a traditional tarot deck, and you can see we've got our little bird who's kind of on his back, and you know, I like this. Okay, it's my deck, but I like this card because it is like the current energies. It's being down but not out. Okay, so usually in the traditional tarot, this would be a person laying on their face with 10 swords in their back. And obviously, little birds don't like being on their backs, but this little bird is not out of it. Okay, that's not a dead bird. You can see, I don't know, let's see if you can see. See, his eyes are open, his head is up. He's all right. So everything's going to be fine. This is like, you know, maybe during the time that we were apart, during the retrograde times, you might have, because everything slowed down, and Jupiter is about to go direct. Jupiter is like the Santa Claus of the zodiac, and it's expansion. It's all of this stuff. Also, I think on the same day we've got a full moon, so. This energy that you might have been feeling like, oh man, I was down, but maybe I'm not totally out. Like you might be this little bird picking its head up going, wait, I'm still here. Let's see what's going on. All right. So this is, you know, usually the Ten of Swords, Ten of Skies can be kind of a discouraging card, but you know, this isn't even about being pummeled. This bird just, I don't even know why this bird is on its back, but it's the impression of having been, you know, kind of out of sorts and out of the loop, and kind of, you know, what's been going on with like me being off camera for a while, but things are turning. So the energies that are pulling us out of alignment with unconditional love is, and actually I want to show you these together. So this is the Four of Farms pulling us out of alignment, and then the Nine of Farms pulling us into alignment. And these two are totally about mindset around abundance and prosperity. Pulling you out of alignment is a lack mentality. The Four of Farms is about hoarding and saving, and you know, there's saving to be responsible, and then there's hoarding. Okay, so when it's out of balance, which is probably why this is a thing that would be pulling people out of alignment, is that it's the hoarding mentality. Like, oh my gosh, I have to save every little thing because I have nothing, or I'm so afraid that I'll be left with nothing. And this goes for your resources. It also goes for your, like when I say resources, this would be things like, well, your time, your energy. Of course, money is in there too, but this is really about, and then even your emotions, like when we see this four of pentacles in the traditional tarot, it's usually like a guy who's like holding the coins really close to his chest. And so, this is, if you have been feeling like you can't express yourself, or you don't want to, or you're too scared, or now you're like, maybe it's coming from a place of pride, like, well, no, I'm not going to reach out anymore. Whatever kind of like beep, beep, beep story you might be telling, or with that tone, if you've got that kind of underlying thing going on, this card is telling you to knock it off. That there is, rather than thinking about how you're going to be withholding yourself from the world in whatever way that might mean for you, whether that's with your love partner, with your friends, with, if you have friends that make you feel like you want to withhold from them, then it might be time just to actually fully step back, rather than and reconsider that friendship more than it's really about like, well, now I'm going to show them. It's like, oh, well then just go about your business and be indifferent about it. Be totally unbothered. Okay. And then pulling you into alignment is the Nine of Farms. And this is, like I said, this is abundance, prosperity. This is, in the traditional tarot, this is a woman standing in her garden with all of her pentacles all, piled up. It's wealth and luxury. And what I also like in this depiction is that it's like, these geese that lay golden eggs. It's not even just one, it's like all of them, and she couldn't leave them behind if she tried, okay? That old phrase, whatever's for you won't miss you, and it's kind of the same way. If you focus too much on, or if you focus any of your energy on, gosh, I don't have this and I don't have that, and it's not perfect in this way, and I wish it was more like this, instead of going, wow, look at all the stuff I've got, and not stuff, but, like, wow, look at all that I have. This is amazing. Look at the things that are making you happy, that are making you feel stable and that make you thrive and laugh. Okay. So this is where the focus needs to be in order to keep yourself in alignment with that higher vibrational love. Okay. All right. Now on their side, we're going to do tarot first, and then we're going to look at the masculine, feminine cards. So, oh boy. So 2 cards jumped out for your counterparts on the current energy surrounding them. And it, I'm sorry to report this, but it feels like a little bit more of the same, where this was kind of the central card and this was the extra one that came out. So the Wheel of Fortune is round and round, more of the same, and then the Two of Skies with it being like they have this decision to make, and rather than open their eyes and make the decision, they're just kind of hanging out on the tree. In a lot of ways, this is feeling more like Hanged Man energy too. It's like, so these 2 cards together are, all right, we're going to keep going round and round about, do we go, do we stay, am I in this, am I out of this? And I would imagine that for a lot of you, you're feeling like you've kind of had it with this little merry-go-round. And let's actually take a look at what they are, what they're deciding between. So the thing pulling them out of alignment, or the energy pulling them out of alignment, is the Seven of Skies. And I have to laugh because, okay, first of all, I really like this card. And there is a little squirrel that lives in the tree out front, and because the weather is nice, I've been having coffee with her every morning. And so this card is the Seven of Skies. It's the Seven of Swords. It's usually about like stealing, like there's somebody's like trying to steal swords and they're looking over the shoulder to see if they're getting away with it. And but in this depiction, it's the squirrel who's, stealing from the birds. But the only reason that that's considered stealing, and because it's birds, or that it's bird seed, is because somebody else decided it was bird seed. Now, I think I've talked about this before. I'm just laughing because I have a bird feeder out there too, and the squirrel, her name is Charlotte Johnson, and she's been spilling all the bird seed, not even eating it, just spilling it. And I'm like, Charlotte Johnson, knock it off. Okay, anyway, I digress. But this card is about, like, the thing that's pulling them out of alignment is them trying to impose outside expectations on what is a natural process. Like, squirrels eat that stuff that's in that cage. That, all of that, the seeds that are in there, it's not bird seed, it's just seeds, and birds and squirrels eat it. Okay? So so the thing, yeah, so like the out of balance energy here is not the stealing, it's not deception, because this is natural order right here. It's the outside imposition of expectations and judgment on what is a natural process. Okay, so that's pulling them out of alignment and pulling them into alignment with divine love, unconditional love. I like this, and they're showing me to actually put my finger over the word on there because it has more to do with the picture. So I don't know if you can see this. So there are people inside these cogs kind of going round and round. And so what brings them into alignment is not like karma and paying off karmic debt or obligation or whatever. It's the colors, the light, and the interconnectedness of the cogs. And so the thing that's bringing them into alignment is their realization that it's like kind of literally embracing light and love, but more than anything, really understanding and, again, embracing their interconnectedness with everything around them. Not just people, but also the way their actions have consequences for other people and vice versa. So they're getting a pretty big dose of this. This is all purpley and pink, and I feel like what they're getting is, it's like the light bulb goes on, and they're having realization and clarity about some of these interconnected events and episodes. It's not quite synchronicity, because it's like there are things that are coming back around to them that make sense to them now that didn't make sense to them before. Okay, all right. So now let's go to the masculine and feminine cards. And actually, I'm going to start. Okay, this is our masculine card. It's Apollo. The keyword is inquiry. And then their masculine card is Eros, with the keyword of love. And the reason, I know this is a really strange order compared to what I usually do, but what I think is important here is that both of these have, both of the narratives around each of these gods has to do with truth and the seeking of truth. So in Apollo's case, this is about, okay, so inquiry, but also about seeking knowledge, seeking truth, and really wanting to get to like that deep understanding, not just internally, but also of, the universe, our place in it. We are talking like big stuff. And again, it makes sense because here comes Jupiter direct, doing very similar, like that's Jupiter's, that expansiveness of mind and philosophy, and like that's what's coming out here. The other thing that's going on in terms of like the way this relates to these energies is it's like everyone's going to stop being deluded this week, and like all of the little, like the false stories that we've been telling ourselves, because for any number of reasons, whether it's just to protect our own hearts, or because like we just weren't ready to let go of something, whatever it might be. Apollo is here this week as the masculine energy, wanting, pushing, pulling, nudging all of us to take action toward truth. Okay, and I'm just going to listen. Yeah. understanding, like really embracing this and stop telling ourselves the lie about lack and going and seeing the truth of all that we have, rather than, kind of focusing in on stuff that just isn't. This is about expansiveness and abundance and all of it's just like big. They just keep showing me big, big, big. Everything's big. It's like awesome. So yeah, that's the masculine energy for our side. Now on their side, Eros, this I think is really cool. So in the beginning there was chaos, when the first organizing element to like rise out of chaos was Eros and love. And then an additional piece of the Eros psyche story is that true love, like the moral of the story is that true love requires trust. And sorry, that was, I don't know, that was like just really heavy energy, and I totally get why. So the Psyche Eros story is about, Psyche was promised that Eros is like hot fella here, right? And she's like, okay, but also when they got married, she wasn't allowed to look at him. She just had to trust and believe that he was, this guy here. And but of course she couldn't resist, and she couldn't just be okay with that, and had to, in the middle of the night, got up, lit the candle and looked at him, and then he woke up because the candle wax dripped on him, and then he's all out of sorts because why didn't you just believe me? Why didn't you just trust me? And so he leaves Psyche and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so regardless of the rest of that story, both of these are about, this is about trust. True love requires trust. And Eros leaves Psyche because of a perceived betrayal. Okay, so for some of you out there, something, if you're not in contact or having like hard times with your mate right now, then it's likely because of whether it's something that transpired between the two of you that has been understood or interpreted as a betrayal of trust on their part, or if they have that, like a pretty big betrayal in their past somewhere, like in their early, like I want to say either early adulthood or in their childhood somewhere, where there's a massive betrayal of trust, and it's something that they're working through. Well, it's the thing that they have to work through. It doesn't seem that right now they're actually doing a lot to work through it, because their feminine energy is Katesh, and the keyword is pleasure. And I really actually, with these two cards together, the feeling I get more than anything, this is a shadow side pleasure, where it's a little bit of still kind of running. Oh, no, they've stopped me on that. Cool. They're like, don't be such a pessimist. All right, so they're saying actually that there is an embracing on your partner's side about, oh wow, this is cool, that they're actually seeing what they have and kind of they're finding actual pleasure again. So, oh, okay, I see. So it's not what they used to do was run away from all of this, the past wounding. They run away from it by seeking out what might look to other people as like hedonistic pleasure. And they're actually coming into, oh, this is really, wow. Oh, I can really feel this. They're coming into a, this heart space, or they have the opportunity to anyway, the heart, this really heart-driven space of pleasure. Like they're finding legitimate happiness, which is fantastic news, right? I mean, my goodness. They've had so much dark stuff for so long in these readings. So this is a pretty cool little set of cards here. Now, the reason, so those three things kind of all together, or those three cards, so it's the two masculine that are around truth, the seeking of truth, and actually with this inquiry, this is also about if you are like maybe running old scenarios in your mind, with your old stuff that happened with your partner. it's going to be more likely for you this week to see it with more clarity rather than, you know, any kind of any like that pessimism, like the way that I was like, oh gosh, they're still doing this. It's like, oh no, there's some patterns are breaking, including, you know, your own, like whatever patterns of mind, habits of mind you have for interpreting some of the past events. You're gonna find yourself seeing your entire situation, not just with this person, but your whole situation that includes them as part of it, but your entire landscape. Okay, you'll be able to see that with more clarity. That's pretty good. Okay, now our feminine energy on our side. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, the feminine energies are also echoing in some ways. So Katesh with pleasure, and then we have Freya and her keyword is irresistibility. She's all about sexuality and fertility and beauty and, oh my gosh, and it's just like this really big energy, just of this. It's this embodied, you know. So this is a really cool. You've got a lot that's really pushing you much more toward, you know, the stuff that gets you in alignment this week. It really is exciting, and yeah, this feels like you've got, you know, more pushing you toward truth and love and pleasure and even like feeling full of, like feeling yourself, you know what I mean? Like really feeling full of yourself about like, yeah, I got this. I'm rocking my little dresses and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, like, or whatever it is for you. But yeah, it's like, this is, oh gosh, this feels fantastic. So please go be in your Venus energy, in that feminine Venus energy. This is going to come back around again. I'm going to go to the soul card and then we're going to see more from her. She's not done talking to us. So at the soul level, this is a soul level energy that's kind of between the two partners, and what a heck of a card to have as the first one back. I mean, I don't know what you've been feeling as far as like the energy, like your partner's energy, whether they're like, if you've been having a hard time connecting to it, or you've really been feeling them, or you've just kind of taken a break from all of it. This is just a nice, wow. You know, they're touching hands, and what they're showing me is the chakras, the hand chakras, and, you know, tools for healing, and they're looking at each other. When I've pulled other soul cards, we've seen them holding hands and standing back to back, looking away from each other. We've seen them like fully not at all entwined or looking or anything. I think this might be one of the first ones we've had where they are looking at each other and touching each other, which to me is really signaling like moving all this stuff that's been just going on in energy only. I think we're gonna there's an opportunity, at least for a pretty significant portion of those of you who are watching this, of bringing the etheric and energetic interactions and connections back into that 3D real life face-to-face, like literally face-to-face this week. Pretty awesome. And not to, oh wow. And now ordinarily I don't usually go in for timing on a weekly reading, because it's like, well, it's going to be about this, you know, kind of in the time span of this week. But here's like, we got like 3 extra kind of advice-y cards at the end. And it's a bird, a crystal, and a flower and a tree. And the funny thing is the tree isn't even a tree. So let's start with the bird. Let's start with the bird. This is a big message because, well, it's a big message because it's repeated in like these other 2 cards. I'm a little beside myself about how loudly these are shouting. So it's woodpecker, And what's crazy about this is that this card flew out at the exact moment that I could hear a woodpecker outside my window. So, yeah, so woodpecker, the message with woodpecker is opportunity is knocking. So you got to open the door. And it's totally about like not being like, oh no, I don't want to peep out the door and like see who's there. This is like, no, I can't, like, opportunity is knocking. It's going to come barging in almost whether you open that door or not. Actually, there is some stuff you got to do. But it's, so this is about noticing, recognizing those opportunities when they arrive. It's being in places. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the crystal card because it's turquoise. And here, the words up at the top, I'll see if you can see it. It says, oh gosh, it's in mirror vision. I am always at the right place at the right time with the right people. So, and you know what, I just need to show you what the flower card is too. So it's sweet pea, and it says blissful pleasure, which is, again, that's Katesh with pleasure, Freya with irresistibility and sexuality. And then the quote is by Joseph Campbell, and it says, follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. This is about, you got to make yourself happy. Don't be sitting around waiting for anybody. Go do stuff that makes you happy. I'm serious. I mean, I know that we talk about this all the time, but I'm like, they're serious. Okay. This whole thing, oh, sorry. Okay. All right, so this is about not waiting around. Okay, so this is what they wanted me. There's also the Celtic tree oracle card, and the funny thing is that it's not a tree, it's the sea. And here's the key phrase that's important about this. So this card indicates that hidden knowledge will become available when the moon and the sea are full. We have a full moon on Friday. Jupiter is going direct on Friday. Friday is named that because it's Freya's day. Okay, that's where we get that in English from. And so this is why I needed to, sorry, I had to like kind of go back there. I was getting all these crossed wires. So all of this, the opportunity knocking, being with, going and doing fun stuff. So this is not about sitting at home waiting for whether or not they're going to make this choice to call you. That's not at all what this message is about. This is about go do stuff that you think is fun, and all of the doors that are meant for you will open. The things, a whole flock of golden egg laying geese are going to show up for you when you are fully in your abundance, prosperity mentality, okay? Rather than I don't want to make plans because then I'll be busy in case my partner calls. No. You gotta go out and do whatever stuff that you want to be doing. This is interesting because this has been coming up in readings and in healings with clients. A lot of people have been working on that solar plexus, like a lot of solar plexus stuff, and the message, like in various ways, has been go do the things that make you feel really good about yourself. So the stuff that you're really good at, or stuff you used to be good at, but you haven't done in a while. Okay, you're going to be rusty, and it's going to, it might hurt if it's something like activity, or if it's, if it's artwork, you might not feel the flow the way you used to, but the point is go do stuff that you feel amazing at, that that you're really good at, because it's that energy and that mindset, where you don't go, oh, I'm not as good as I used to be. It's like, wow, this feels great. I love, like for me, it's mountain biking. I need to go out and mountain bike. I love mountain biking. I need to do it. And I can tell you right now, like I've got my helmet, the bike is right there. I finally found my shoes. And, but I also know that the elevation is gonna kill me. And I haven't been on my mountain bike in about, hasn't been quite a year, but it's been long enough that I know it's gonna hurt. So, the key here is to not get stuck in like, oh, this is miserable, I never want to do this again. It's like, okay, it hurts today, I'm going to hurt tomorrow, but I'm going to keep doing it until it doesn't hurt anymore, and it's only fun, because even when it's hard, it's still fun. I love it. Okay, so that is all about like pleasure. Do the stuff that makes you happy. Be all fully in your full you-ness, whatever it is that makes you the most you, which is all that stuff that you're really good at. Go do that stuff and find, because the other thing is you're going to be around people. If you're doing stuff that you love, you'll be around people who love those things too. And it will be opportunity knocking. And this is, they want me to read the back of this card. I just realized, so it says, improve timing, increase the occurrence of synchronistic opportunities, be inspired with creative ideas. Was I not just saying that? And if you're like, for the painters and artists and creators among you, well, I guess it's all of us, but you know what I mean. And then develop understanding of various cultures and spiritual philosophies. So that's, again, this is, I mean, this card has like everything in it right now. Turquoise is also related to the throat chakra. So if you are if you've been struggling with expression, writing, speaking your truth, this week is a week where the energies are conspiring in your favor. Okay, and so you can really harness this to go do the stuff that you want to be doing. Express yourself in the world in the most, kind of your most fully abundant, fully expressed ways. Okay. All right. I think that's all the cards. Wow. I kind of got through that a little fast. Hold on. I think they want me to pull one more. And we're going to pull it from the Divine Timing deck. This is interesting. All right. I don't know what's going on. Let's see what happens. So before, as I'm shuffling, I do want to just make sure that I say, don't get hung up on Friday. Okay. Friday is ruled by Venus, and I think it's more about kind of being in your resplendent glory, in your fullest and highest expression. Find opportunities to be able to do that and be in the world in those ways, because when you're vibing that way, like when you're doing stuff that kind of rings your dinger in that way. Oh my God. Hi, welcome back. That puts you around people who will be in the same vibration as you, and you'll ultimately have like more fulfilling interactions and that sort of thing. It may or may not include your partner. I mean, if your partner vibes in that same way, and that's the thing, it's almost like, not like the moment of truth, but like a moment of truth, an opportunity for truth to show up. It's like when you're in your highest expression, then if the object of your interest right now is not in that vibration, then they'll kind of vibrate away from you, and you won't miss it so much. Like you'll have a very different orientation to kind of what their presence or absence means for you, because I mean, they could come right in and kind of test you, like, hey, here I am with my little vibey stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm doing something else now. Oh, this I don't feel quite the longing or the draw that I used to. Or by the same token, it could be like, oh, okay, I wasn't crazy. All right. So it's not to say one way or another that people are going to vibe in or vibe out. It's just that it's you getting into your true resonance. Okay. So that people who are meant for your true resonance will be able to actually find you. Okay. All right. So here is one last, this is the divine, this is out of the Divine Timing Oracle. And so the way this deck works is, there's a lot of cards in here that correspond to like planets. So it will either correspond to days of the week or astrological signs or the qualities associated with astrological signs. There's a card in here for never, and there's a card in here for the equinox, and there's like, oh, and here's the twins for Gemini. Okay, so, but the thing is, and here's one for soon. But what I love about it is that if you're not meant to get a sense of timing, like if you're stuck and things aren't moving, what they'll show you instead, if you don't get a timing card, what you'll get is a healing card, something that draws your attention to something that needs to be healed or released or cleared or whatever. But what I love about this is that, so the divine timing card for this week is balance. And what I think is actually being shown here is that this is one of your best opportunities so far. Everybody has been working really, really hard to regain balance, to heal the things that are out of balance, to eliminate the things that are constantly pulling us out of balance. And it's like everyone's on approach, you know, like people are ready to come in for the landing, okay? And I don't feel like this is, wow, you've got all this work to do. I feel like, whoa, you've done a lot of work. And everyone's energies are really starting to come into much greater balance this week. I mean, this can extend kind of, you know, a little after, maybe you've already started feeling that happening, but what a big energy this is. Like, and look, and you can see this is like this person's aura, but it's also like these are you. Okay, sorry, I got really excited. But this is also like their vibes reaching out into the universe and reaching exactly who they're meant to reach. And if a person's not in that same resonance, it's gonna either like it'll feel like yuck, or it'll be like, oh wow, and it'll really make their soul sing. So wow, awesome, that's cool. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad I had such a strong and really positive reading for everybody. I mean, even, you know, there was a little bit of this going on, like more of the same, but it feel like even if they have sort of more of the same going on, I feel like with all of the other energies that were swirling around, it just feels more like stuff is going to start moving forward one way or another. People are like, motion is happening now. They can't be in this standstill anymore, because even the going around in circles, like that's not, they're telling me like that's not tenable for them any, like they're getting sick of this too. So some big motion, big shakeups this week. How exciting. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me again. And if you're watching this one, there's probably 4 more right behind it. I'm starting up the weekly, or not weekly, excuse me, the monthly elemental readings, and then there's the solstice special. So all of the information for specials and all of that stuff, including the information about the different decks I was using this week, all of that information down below. Love you so much, and I will see you again next week. All right, bye-bye.